Yes, my name is Jeremiah Christopher from Educare, Tanzania. I'm here in front today to see our topic, which states that population and the development. By beginning to see what is the meaning of the word population. Population refer to the total number of species in a specific area. Or also, population, you can able to say that refer to the distribution of living organism in a certain geographical location. When we talk about population, we means you are dealing with the all living organism. All living organism are those that included in the population. Okay, let's just continue. Terms found in the population. Okay, let's now see what are the terms that found in the population. The first term is demography. Demography refers to the scientific study of human population. Demography is a scientific study of human population. So demography is among of the terms that found in the population. Another term that found in the population is growth. Growth refers to the increase and decrease in population. We'll say about the growth refers to increase and decrease in population, means that this terms is not it is not constant. It is change according to time. So growth is dynamic. Another point is density. Density refers to the ratio between number of people. Density refers to the ratio between number of people and a given area. Here we're going to look the relationship between the number of people and the given area. The ratio between how people that found in a certain area, they are not, you look on the number of people and that the kind of area that people live. So density refers to the ratio between number of people and the given area. Another terminology that found in the population is distribution. Distribution refers to the general settlement pattern, movement, as well as aspect of economic and social development. Another term that found in the population is distribution. Here we look on how people distributed into the different area, and there are different reasons which lead to the occurrence of distribution across the world. We see nowadays those areas that is developed in different sectors like social service tend to have the high population compared to the area that is not developed in the different sectors like infrastructure, social services, and etc. So distribution is the way people distributed accordingly to the different reasons. It can be due to the good infrastructure that influence people to move there. So the area that has good infrastructure tend to attract people compared to the areas that do not have the good infrastructure. Okay, let's now see population dynamic. Here, that we are going to note is that population always is dynamic. Means that when we say dynamic, it means change according to time. So population in general, it is dynamic. Let us see the definition of population dynamics. Population dynamics is a change in number of people in a given area, either increase or decrease caused by fertility, mortality, and migration. So population dynamic is changing, and that change can be either to decrease or increase according to the different reasons. The first reason that leads to the population dynamic is fertility. Fertility, number of given birth in a certain area, is among the factors that lead to the population dynamic. Another factor is mortality. Mortality, here we're going to look death that are occurring at a certain place at a given time. Another is migration. Migration will mean that the movement of people from one place to another. And there are different reasons that lead to the people to move from one place to another. There is push factor and the pull factor. Push factor among the push factor is like political stability. Political stability tends to push people to move to the other area. Another factor is natural disaster like flood, sea, thunder, and etc. Those act as a push factor that lead people to move to the other area. Another thing that you can look in migration is pull factor. Pull factor are those things that attract people to go to that area. For example, the areas that have good social services like water, electricity, hospital tend to attract people to move, to go to live there. So in the case of migration, we are going to look in two sides, that is pull factor and the push factor. Okay, let's now see the development, because we can't separate the population from development. These things tend to be coordinated to another. You can't separate them. These are things that go perpendicular. Development now refer to the progressive change from low to high standard of living, that is socially, political, economic, and cultural. Development we look in these four sectors, that is socially, politically, economically, and cultural. When we say development, that will mean that action of moving from low to high standard, that is a development. So the movement or progressive changes from low to high standard of living, that we call it development. And those changes from low to high standard of living are looked on socially. There are social development. The society can be developed socially. Also politically, the society can be developed politically, economically, and cultural. Now let us see population and development. Population is related to the development process and environment. Population is both the means and goal of development. This, when say population is related to the development, we mean that there is a relationship between population and development. As we see that any kind of development that we see in a certain area go perpendicular with the population. So there is a close relationship between population and development. That's why we say that population is related to the development process and the environment. Also, population is both the means and the goals of all development. We can't develop without population. That's why the countries that have high population like China tend to be developed due to the presence of high population. So those areas that have high population tend to have their development compared to those areas that have low population, especially to the developing countries tend to have the low population. So and their development tend to be low compared to those areas that have high population like China. It is a reproductive resource that transforms the resource in the environment to bring development. Those reproductive resources that transform resources in the environment to bring development. And there are different resources that tend to influence the development, the development to take place in the certain area. Now let's see, population can have negative or positive effect to the development. This is true because the area that have high population, there is positive and negative impact. Let's now see what are those positive impact due to the population to be high in the certain area. The first one is people of that area tend to have the good infrastructure due to the availability of high population. If the population is high, we get both skilled and unskilled laborers. That played the great role to the development of the certain area. And the negative impact of having high population in a certain area tend to increase the number of beggars, tend to increase unemployment. So the population have got both positive and negative outcomes. Okay, let's now see what are the special population terms. The first one is aging population. When we talk about aging population, means that here is a kind of population where the number of old people tend to be higher compared to the other ages. In this aging population is where involve those people who have 64 age and above. Those people who have 64 age and above tend to be put in this area, aging population. Aging population, it is a population in which the number of old people above 64 years is higher than the other age group. When looking on aging population, they tend to be in the pyramid way, and be categorized into the different sections. Those areas that people found with the age of 64 age and above, those are termed to be as a aging population. Old people can give some advice to young people, and they can do light work like scaring away birds from the gardens. Okay, let's now see what are the aging population consequences. There is a problem that lead to the presence of this aging population. So now let's see what are those consequences that related to the aging population. The first one is small size of labor force. If the number of people in a certain country or area tend to have the large number of aging population, their development tend to be low due to the factor that those people with 64 age and above do not have power to do works that lead to the production and hence the occurrence of development. So if the aging population in a certain country tend to be high, even the development will not be good compared to the other area. Aging population change in the pattern of consumption. For example, goods for old people are on higher demand, like medical facilities, walking sticks. And also, when we look in the provision of service to the area with aging population, in the area with aging population, the service tend to be with higher demand compared to the other kind of population, because people who have 64 age and above tend to demand the different things which have the high price. For example, demand of medical facilities and the walking sticks. Another consequence that related to the aging population is increase in dependency ratio. This is tend to be fact due to the fact that if the number of people with 64 age and above tend to be high, the ratio of dependence tend to be high, because those people do not have the power to produce. For example, they cannot engage in agriculture activities, they cannot engage in fishing activities, they cannot engage in irrigation activities and etc. So due to the presence of aging population, it can lead to the occurrence of large number of dependents. There occurs labor immobility since the old people are immobile compared to the young people who keep on moving from place to place. Decline in demand for goods that are consumed by young people. For example, dolls, nursery school facilities, small dress, etc. and etc. Okay, let us now see the life expectancy as another terminology that found in population. Life expectancy, it is a number of years that an average person born in a given area may expect to live. Here we are going to expect the number of years that an average person born in a given area may expect to live. And this you can relate to development to the fact that those areas that have developed in economical, social, and political, their life expectancy tend to be differ compared to these developing countries like Tanzania. The life expectancy of Tanzania you cannot compare with the life expectancy of China. It's quite different. Another terminology that found in another concept that found in population is child mortality rate, CMR. Child mortality rate, here we're going to look number of days occurring to the child age between 1 up to 5. Child mortality rate, here we're going to see the age 1 up to 5. Those days that occurring to this child is what called child mortality rate. If the child have 1 age up to 5 age old, this tend to be categorized in child mortality rate. Those days occurring to the child age between 1 up to 5 years is what called child mortality rate. This measure expresses the proportion of survivors per thousand children born alive. So in child mortality rate, we're going to look the death that occur between the age of 1 up to 5. Another terminology that found in the population is infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate is the number of deaths occurring to the children born alive but under 1 year old per thousand live births during the same year. Infant mortality rate, here we are going to look the number of deaths that occurring to the child with 1 age, with 1 year old. Those children that died in 1 year old tend to be categorized into infant mortality rate. And there are different reasons that lead to the occurrence of this infant mortality rate, especially in our developing country. The rate of infant mortality tend to be high compared to those developed countries due to the fact that here we are going to look on social services, for example, health services. Those developed countries tend to have a good services like hospital compared to these developing countries. So they tend to differ in the rate of occurrence of infant mortality. The infant mortality rate in developing countries tend to be high compared to the developed countries like China, Japan, etc. Another terminology is fecundity. Fecundity, it refers to the ability of woman to conceive. Ability of woman to conceive the pregnancy. Ability of woman to conceive the pregnancy is called what? Fecundity. Fecundity, ability of a woman to conceive. That action of woman to get the pregnancy, that is called what? Fecundity. So any woman who have ability to conceive and pregnancy, that is called what? Fecundity. So fecundity now is another terminology that found in the population. Another is child-woman ratio. Child-woman ratio. This is another terminology that found in population. Ratio computed from the number of child age 0 up to 4 divided by the number of women of a child bearing age usually 15 up to 45 years. Here we're going to look the ratio between the child and the woman. So we're going to look at the child that found in the age of 0 up to 4, divided by the number of men bearing usually 15 up to 49 years. So this ratio tend to be categorized in the child-woman ratio. Another is dependency ratio. Dependency ratio is the ratio of that group of population which is unable to meet its own need. In dependency ratio here we are focusing to look on urgent population, since in urgent population are those people with 64 age and above do not have the power to produce. So that leads to the increase in number of dependency ratio. Dependency ratio are those people that found in dependency ratio are those people that do not have the ability to meet their own needs. For example, clothes, homes, they do not have the ability to meet their needs. So due to that reason of not having the ability to meet their need, tend to depend to other people, and hence the ratio increase. Another terminology is sex ratio. Sex ratio is a specific measure of sex composition of population. Here we're going to look at the ratio, sexy ratio. We're going to look at the ratio between male and female, how they related to other. This is defined as the number of male per 100 female in a population. Sex ratio refers to the ratio between male and female in the population. Here, as I said earlier, here in sex ratio you are looking at the ratio between male and female in the population. In many parts of the world, more males are born, but because of endogenic and exogenic factors, after 1 to several. Now we are going to see what are those reasons that lead to the distribution of the population. The first factor that leads to the population distribution is relief. Relief, we are going to look the steep slope and the gentle slope. The areas that have steep slope tend to have low population compared to the area that found in the gentle slope. This is because the areas that have the steep slope tend to have the poor soil that do not support agriculture activities, so people cannot be able to be attracted there to practice the agriculture, hence tend to be found in the low land. So relief is among the factors that lead to the population distribution. Another factor is climate. We're going to talk about climate. We include the different things like rainfall, temperature, cold, hot. All these things that found in the climate. Climate area with reliable rainfall, like the Northwest Europe, have attracted high population, but where there is poor rainfall, like in the desert, there is low population. People tend to be attracted to live in the area with high rainfall. This is because rainfall plays the great role to development of agriculture compared to the area that they do not have rainfall. Agriculture will not be practiced there since there is no rainfall. Another is vegetation. In the area where this vegetation is difficult to clear, like in the tropical rainforest of Amazon basin. Here we're going to look about the vegetation. The areas that have large forest tend to have low population because do not attract people to go to live there. Since there is a huge forest, for example, Amazon, there is no many people who can able to go to live there because that area do not support the life of human being. So vegetation is another factor that leads to the population distribution. Another is soil. We are going to look fertile and infertile soils. The area that have fertile soil support agriculture, so attract people to live, and hence the population will be high compared to the area that have infertile soil. Do not attract people to go to live there because that soil cannot support agriculture. So those are the physical factors that lead to the population distribution. Another is the mineral and energy resources. The areas that have minerals attract people to go there to practice mining activities for runs their life. So the areas that have availability of mineral tend to attract people, and hence the population will be high compared to the areas that do not have the mineral. People will not attracted to live there. Another is natural hazard. Natural hazard, you are going to look at the different things. For example, floods, earthquake, tsunami, all these are the natural hazards. So the areas that experience this natural hazard will not have high population because people will not attract to live at this area, so tend to move to the other area. Another is the biological factor. Biological factor, here we are going to look disease like pest. People like settling in the area which are free of disease. People are attracted to live the areas that have no diseases. So the areas that have disease do not attract people to go to live there. So biological factor is among the factors that lead to the population distribution. Another is human factor. Here we are going to look culture and etc. The area that practice the bad culture practices like female genital mutilations do not attract people to go to live there due to this kind of bad cultural practice. So areas that experience negative cultural practice do not attract people to go to live there, and hence human actor are the factor that lead to the population distribution. Another point is political factor. Here we're going to look the stability and the instability. The area that is political is stable tend to attract people to live there because there is stability of political compared to the area that is in political instability. Tend to have the low population because people will migrate to go to the area that have political stability. So political now is another factor that leads to the population distribution. Okay, let's now see the case study in Nigeria. In 1961, in Nigeria, 65% live in urban area and 65% and 35% live in rural area. The population distribution of Nigeria is uneven such that there are area with high population density and the area with low population density. Nigeria is among of the developing countries that is found in Africa. Now, in Nigeria also there is a different reason that leads to some of the area of Nigeria to have the high population compared to the other areas that have low population. Now, those factors also include there is a physical factor is among the factors that lead to the distribution of population in Nigeria. Another is mineral. Also mineral attract people of Nigeria to live with certain that. Okay, now after that explanation concerning about our topic of population and development, let's now see what are the factors contributed to the population distribution in the world. Here you are going to see the different factors that contributed to the population distribution across the world. There are the different reasons that lead to the population distribution in the world.